Welcome back to Real Disc Golf Simulation. Today we're trying to see if TechDisc can find us the most accurate flying disc, and we're doing that with fairway drivers. This is part 2 of the video series. If you didn't see part 1, go out there and check it out. It's really cool. We utilize TechDisc and a translucent sheet laid over the top of our screen to look for what's going to be the best disc for my throw style based off of accuracy. And that ended up coming back with the Innova Cheetah. We also bought this Stig, which is similar flight numbers, just a little bit faster, so we can compare those two. And then we're going to put it up against sort of our base set, which is going to be an Essence. So Discmania Essence is going to be the first one we throw, and then we're going to do the Stig, and then the Cheetah. We're going to do 10 throws with each one of these discs, see which one ends up being closest to the basket more often than not, and that's going to be the most accurate disc for us on this sort of stock hyzer shot. If you look, the basket's out there. It is 300 feet straight out and 45 feet off to the left, so it should be a nice stock hyzer. We're going to try and keep that throw the same the entire way through. So we're going to try and do the same throw over and over again and not correct for the disc. So I'm going to start off with the Essence. That's going to be way too straight. It's got the distance though, so it looks like it landed right around 300, but very straight. That one's going to end up with a little bit more hyzer on it. It's headed over there towards the basket. That's the Stig, and that one's probably inside the circle, so should have a pretty good look from that. Now we got the Cheetah. Ooh, that's really straight too. It's going to end with a little bit of hyzer. That's out there past 300, so we're going to go get those, measure, and we'll see what we look like.
So there you see on the screen, I have the distances to the pin for each one of those throws. I am measuring this by hand and just stringing a tape measure from the basket over to the disc, and that's the distance that you end up seeing on the screen. We're going to have each individual throw and the average.
All right, so after the first throw, Stig with a huge advantage, 16 feet compared to 30 something and 54. So we'll keep going. That one a little bit short, but pretty good line. There's the Stig again. I don't think that one's going to have the distance, but again, good line. And here comes the Cheetah. Drop. Okay, all three of those are pretty good.
So I've gotten a lot of feedback on this idea as a whole. A lot of people saying that you can't find the most accurate disc, that it's the Archer and not the Arrow. I think it's probably a combination of the two things, both the Archer and the Arrow. So, you know, the disc plays a role, and we'll see what this test ends up looking like. I get it's not perfect.
Here we go, throw 3. That's looking great. That'll be inside the circle for sure. Here we go with the Stig. That's also looking nice. Probably a little bit short, but out there for sure. Actually sort of got their pin high. And then the Cheetah. And that's deep.
So the one thing you'll notice is I am trying to do the same throw for every single disc. It's not the easiest thing to do 30 exact same throws in a row. So there is some variation. We know that there's going to be variation, and it might mean that we're really looking for the disc that has the most forgiveness, not the most accurate.
Starting off with the Essence again. That one's going to hyzer out left. That's going to give the other two some room. That one will be nice. Get up there. Whoo! That's probably inside 5 if I had to guess. Here we go with the Cheetah. If it gets left, it's going to be close. Go in. Whoo! Right behind it. Great one, but we'll see how long it went.
So those were some really good throws. You see after 4 throws there, we have the Stig in the lead at 18 feet. The Cheetah is at 27.5, and then the Essence is at 28 feet. I believe that what TechDisc had actually said was that the Cheetah would be right around, was it 24 or 27 feet? I'll have to look that back up. But you see we're very close to that number. We had a massive rain delay there. It is Florida, so that kind of thing happens. Here we are. We're loaded back up. Everything's all wet at this point, but we're going to go ahead and keep going, try and get this done. Rain lasted probably about 35 minutes. So there's first throw afterwards with the Essence. There's the Stig, and man, that Stig was slippery. It slipped out of my hand, went way to the right. It's going to be about 47 feet from the basket. I'm surprised it's even that close. And there's the throw with the Cheetah. And the thing that I noticed right off the bat with coming back after the rain delay is that Cheetah in DX plastic seems like it's going to have a pretty big advantage here over the other two for the last 6 throws. So I think we're going to see sort of a changing of the guard. The Stig had dominated before this rain, but with how slippery that was, unless we take a break and let everything dry, I think it's really going to be hard for the Stig to keep up, and the Essence for that matter too. So here we go. We're loading up throw number 6, and we're going to start off with the Essence again. That's going to get a really nice flight, headed past the basket off to the left. Looks like it's 33 feet out. So and here's the Stig again, headed up towards the basket. That was a good throw, a little bit short. Looks like it's about 37 feet, so just outside of the circle. And the Cheetah, using its DX grippiness as a huge advantage. There we go. That one was 20 feet. So another one inside the circle for the Cheetah. Like I said, it's taken a chunk out of the lead. It actually has taken the lead from the Stig, so the Cheetah's sitting at 25.3 feet and now beating both the Stig and the Essence. So few throws left here. We'll see if it can continue on that track or not. Here we go, starting off with the Essence again. I think that one's going to be pretty good. Oh, no, way off to the left. 42 feet, not even in the circle. The Stig, really low one. Turning right quite a bit more than we'd like to see out of these throws. And that one left about 35 feet, so also outside the circle. Here comes the Cheetah. Really high out of the Cheetah. Finishing left. That one was far, 47 feet, so the Cheetah did the worst that time, and it's going to drop it back out of the lead. So the Stig takes the lead back from the Cheetah. Looks like we're going to have an awfully close competition headed down to the wire here. That rain is rolling back in right about now too, so we're really going to have to speed up if we want to get this done, because I mean, it took quite a bit of work to get this all set up out there in the field. I don't want to have to set it up again. So here we go with the Essence. That's a nice shot. Carries over to the basket. About 35 feet from that one. And there's the Stig. Really close, 19-footer. A little bit short. And there we go with the Cheetah. It carries nicely, gets out to 24 feet. So the Stig is still in the lead here. The rain is coming, so I'm trying to hurry up the best that I can, but it is coming at us. Here we go. This is throw 9. There's the Essence. And the Stig. And there's the Cheetah. So Cheetah won that one, 21 feet, well inside the circle. The other two were both outside of it. So once again, Cheetah takes the lead back from the Stig. We got one throw left here. The rain is coming. I'm trying to do this as fast as I can here. So last throw with the Essence. We get a good grip. And that's headed right at the basket. Skip. Oh, whoa, that hit right off the bottom of the cage. And I don't think it skipped away either. That is 3 feet from the pole. So we had a great run there with the Essence. It's going to put it back in the consideration. There's the Stig. Not bad. A little bit short. Left it just outside the circle, 35 feet. So it looks like the Cheetah has a very good chance of winning this. Whoa. If you didn't notice, a giant gust of wind came in just as we ended up throwing that Cheetah. It actually pushed it fairly far over to the left, so it ended up being 37 feet from the basket to make this an awfully close competition. So without that wind, I think it would have been an even more decisive win for the Cheetah, but the Cheetah ends up taking the win by 1 foot over the Stig, and then the Discmania Essence was about 1.5 feet further away. I'm not sure what this really tells us. I mean, 1 foot of difference between what I would say is 2 discs that are similar and one that is wildly different. You know, the Essence is an 8-speed, while, you know, we have a 5 and a 6 in the Cheetah and the Stig. I would have expected a bigger difference between the 3 of them. And to me, I always want a bag that's more simple. If I can get the Essence to be almost as accurate as the Cheetah or the Stig, what would be the point in carrying the Cheetah and the Stig? And I get that this experiment as a whole might not be the greatest, and maybe we need to test additional distances and different throw styles. Like we did a stock hyzer here. What if we put the same 3 discs up against each other in actual turnover where we're trying to get the disc to go to the right? All of those things would play a role in figuring out which disc is overall the most accurate. And again, is the most accurate even something we should be looking at? It's sort of a confusing topic if you ask me, because like I said, maybe it's not the most accurate, but it should be the most forgiving. But for the time being, this Innova Cheetah, I don't know. I think I at least have to play around with it a little bit more to figure out if it's something that I should have in the bag. You know, should I have a disc in there that's something in between my mid-ranges and my Essence, which my Essence, we've seen I can push it out there almost as far as most of my distance drivers, at least within 20 or 30 feet. So is there a need for something in between, or is there not? Based off of what we've seen with this data, I would say that there's not. But the weird thing is, it did win, right? Like it did show that TechDisc was accurate in picking the Cheetah for me for whatever reason. And I still think the Cheetah is a super weird choice, but that's what the data ended up showing us. So if you find this interesting, make sure that you leave a comment down there. Let me know what you want me to do at this point. I don't know. Like I said, sort of a confusing topic, finding the most accurate. I think what we did was cool and it came out with a decent result, but where should I go from here? Should I do tests at different distance? Should I take this out to the course and see what happens there? Because the course is a whole nother situation of accuracy with trying to have to get around trees, obstacles, other things like that. So let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching.